Hi everyone, Janey here. Welcome back. I have a wonderful story to share with you all today about a town that has turned itself around with flowers.
Welcome to Castle Rock, Washington, a charming small town with a population of just 2,000, nestled between Seattle and Portland. Blink and you might miss the exit off the interstate. But if you're lucky enough to find this hidden gem, you're in for quite a treat. Almost every square inch of this town has been cleaned up, beautified, and cared for by volunteers in this community. Every park is landscaped and tended to. Every green space by a road has been planted up to become something special. Check in front of the businesses in town, and you will find planters or hanging baskets with beautiful blooms. Even private residences have caught what the town calls flower fever and has put effort and care into their homes. But Castle Rock wasn't always this special. Years ago, Mayor Paul Hellenberg remembers walking down the empty streets and hearing complaints from his constituents about a pothole or a neglected alleyway. Business was struggling and the vacancy rate was at an all-time high of 35%. No one was happy and no one seemed to have much pride in their community and the place they called home. Instead of giving up and letting their city continue to decline, the community decided to pull together and revamp this town. A group of volunteers came together and created what is now known as the Bloom Team. You'll see them in their bright green vests, planting, pulling weeds, watering, and creating a sense of home and a quality of place. Heading up the Bloom Team is Nancy Chenault. Nancy and her husband Jim are retired garden center owners that knew the magic of flowers. Nancy became the Castle Rock's Blooms volunteer coordinator and used her skills to rally the town to come together and to create something magical. They say it takes a village, and they are right. Dave Vorse, City of Castle Rock's Public Works Director, was having trouble getting anything to grow in a planting strip in front of the elementary school. Everything he planted died and couldn't handle the harsh conditions of the location. When Nancy asked him to amend the soil, add better irrigation, and plant a special plant called Supertunia Vista bubblegum, Dave could have said no. He could have said he was too busy and didn't have time for something as frivolous as flowers, but Dave didn't. Dave said he would figure it out, and he did. That planting strip of Supertunia Vista bubblegum wasn't just a small space for flowers, it was an inspiration for what the city could become. Castle Rock became involved in a program called America in Bloom back in 2011. This program helps communities get educated, inspired, and develop into a place that can be celebrated by the residents. America in Bloom promotes nationwide beautification through education and community involvement by encouraging the use of flowers, plants, and trees. 2024 is the 13th year Castle Rock has entered the National American in Bloom competition, and the amount of awards their city has won in the past 13 years is too many to count. After that first planting of Supertunia Vista bubblegum, Nancy and her team knew that planting the best performing plants was one of the secrets for creating a stunning city of flowers. The tourist center just off the exit from the highway became landscaped and planted up with so many beautiful Proven Winners shrubs and perennials, it was soon awarded the prestigious designation of a Proven Winners signature garden. The fact that a Proven Winners signature garden is located in between a carpool parking lot and an on-ramp to Interstate 5 shows the sense of pride and ingenuity of the Bloom Team and the residents of this city. The efforts of the Bloom Team volunteers to beautify the visitor center for the city of Castle Rock have resulted in the most beautiful garden with extensive Proven Winners color choice shrubs. Whether driving through or coming here as a destination, stopping at this visitor center is a must. The accolades for this city don't stop at the visitor center, though. Because of the Bloom Team and their work on almost every free space in this town, Castle Rock has earned itself the distinction of being chosen as the very first Proven Winners signature city. Proven Winners annuals, perennials, and flowering shrubs can be found growing in more than 200 hanging baskets, hundreds of municipal flower bed and gardens, and don't forget the colorful coordinated planters sponsored by local businesses filled to the brim with Proven Winners color. The designation of a Proven Winners city wouldn't have been possible without Nancy and the Bloom team. Mayor Paul, the Public Works Department, and even the students at the high school who take horticultural classes to help plant up baskets and containers for the city. Castle Rock is a story of a tiny town that turned itself around with flowers. Residents and volunteers have come together and become the heart of the beautification efforts that have resulted in a thriving, growing economy. Remember that 35% business vacancy rate I was telling you about? Once the Bloom team got into action, the vacancy rate for the city is almost none. Castle Rock has become a place that attracts families and businesses, all from the power of the flower. So the story of Castle Rock is pretty incredible, but it could have never happened without the community and especially without the Bloom team leader, Nancy Chenault. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Hi, I'm just fine, Janey. Thank you.
So how did you get started? What is your role, first off, in Castle Rock?
I am Castle Rock Bloom's volunteer coordinator and kind of came about with that role as a result of being a project manager for one of the first projects we did, which was actually in coordination with Castle Rock Chamber Cleanup Day in 2012.
Okay.
Main thing is that I do have a background in greenhouse growing, horticulture.
Because what did you do before this?
Before this, well, I had sold young plants for a broker and sold proven winter plants and among other genetics, but did greenhouse growing, had a retail nursery, garden center, greenhouses for 20 years. And I've been doing this since 1974.
So when did you and your husband move to Castle Rock?
We moved to Castle Rock proper in 2005 when we sold our nursery in Kelso, which is just 6 miles south.
And so then in 2005, that's when the Nancy train came into Castle Rock.
That's when Nancy and Jim bought this house in Castle Rock.
Okay.
But we didn't retire from selling young plants and delivering young plants into Oregon and Southwest Washington until 2010.
And then that's when it all started.
And then 2010, we both said, in our retirement, we'd like to volunteer.
And boy, did they volunteer. My goodness. What are some of the programs that you've gotten started?
Well, we started out with having volunteers come together for a cleanup day project. And within that cleanup day volunteers were some of the volunteers that were wanting and knew that they could keep it going year round. And so it was about that time that we were asked if we had ever heard about American in Bloom.
Okay.
And I had heard about American in Bloom within the greenhouse industry.
Right.
And so the city said, well, let's look into American in Bloom and joining American in Bloom. So Chamber and the city teamed up to pay the enrollment fee for American in Bloom in 2012. And we began to be involved with American in Bloom.
And what has it done for the city?
The city has the source of pride for what the public, we have a tremendous amount of visitors. Right now on our Facebook page, we have more than 4,000 followers, and just
in a city of 2,000 people. So that's huge.
And I'm not quite sure how it translates. You would know, Janey, but we have 3,500 plus of likes, and we have more than 4,000 followers. So are they the same people? Or are they different people? I don't know. But I just know that it's a lot of people.
It doesn't matter. It's people love it here, and people want to come here, and people want to visit, and people want to live here. And the people who live here are all some of the most wonderful, beautiful people that I've met. And Nancy, you're guiding everybody.
Well, I'm the volunteer coordinator, so I wouldn't be able to do it without the people who really are interested in getting the work done.
Yes.
And one of the things with being a volunteer coordinator is that I also have to get my hands dirty.
Yeah.
I don't sit back. I like what I do, and if I get a chance to grow, if I get a chance to put a plant in the ground, that's what I want to do. And so anybody that has a role such as that and works with volunteers just needs to be right there in the middle of doing that same project with everybody else.
Yeah. Everyone, I would like to introduce you to Mayor Paul Hellenberg. Hello, Mayor Paul.
Hello.
What are you working on today?
Well, we're working on this bathrooms for the kitchen, and the groom's room.
The groom's room. You guys are going to host weddings here.
Yes, hopefully let's finance the park when it's all done.
That is amazing.
It's a private entity.
Mayor Paul, I have heard so many good things about you and how supportive you are of this city. How long have you lived here in Castle Rock?
68 years.
What? So
68.
This is home.
This is my home.
How long have you been mayor?
14 3/4 years.
Wow. Wow. So when you guys started focusing on all the blooms and the improvements to the city, what happened to this? What changes happened?
Well, it used to be when I first became mayor, before American in Blooms, I'd walk down the street and everybody complain about potholes and this and that, and how bad everything was, how much their water bills and sewer bills were. And Nancy approached me with American in Blooms. So my mom was always a big flower person throughout my whole life, and Nancy approached me and I said, that sounds like a good idea, but we don't have much money.
Yeah.
She said, well, no, I think we'll make it work. And within 1 year, when I walk down the streets, nobody complains. Wow. Nobody. It's the power of flowers.
It's the power of flowers. It's huge. It has turned this city around.
It has turned it 100% around, and thanks to proven winners and being a signature city and signature gardens, and it's just been it's just really turned it around. It's really a joy to be part of it.
So what do you see for the future of Castle Rock? What comes next after all this?
Oh, I'm hoping it brings in a lot of tourism money.
Yeah.
And it really has. There's a lot of people travel a long ways to come see our flowers.
I mean, this is everywhere we turn, there are so many beautiful things to see in the city.
It just goes, no matter where you go, and you run into something. And, it makes me want to continue on as mayor. I don't know how much longer. I got another 3 1/4 years before I come for election, but nobody's ran against me in 14 and
I don't think anybody will, Mayor Paul. I don't think anybody will.
But you sometime or another need some new blood.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, between you and between Dave at Public Works and Nancy and the whole Bloom team, you guys are rock stars.
Well, it's been fun.
My name is Julia Collins. I teach at Castle Rock High School as one of the agriculture educators. In our greenhouse management class, we work with the Blooms team in Greenhouse 2 to create the city baskets.
So in the beginning of the year, you guys get the cuttings?
We get plugs in about February.
Okay. And then the students plant them up? Mm-hmm. So all the baskets that we've been seeing all day around town were planted by the students?
Yes, and a combination between students and Bloom team volunteers.
Nice.
We all work together. Well, right now I have Floral 1 classes, and so we're looking at floral design, the very beginnings of it, and teaching students that. And then in the spring, I have a Floral 2 and 3, so getting more advanced, and then that's when the greenhouse classes. And then I also have a plant science class where we look at more of the scientific side of why plants do what they do. We have 4 total, but House 2 is dedicated to the Blooms team and the baskets. So when we get them in, we put them into 606 packs, 6-pack. My students help with that. Blooms team members do that, and they are in the heated house number 3. And then when it's time to plant, we come to this, and so we set up stations in here. 3 to 4 stations. Students work with Bloom team. They have a recipe depending on how many we need for what street. They get planted, and then we have a small walkway down the middle. Otherwise, there's just baskets
just being grown. All the baskets we've seen around town,
they're all in here.
They started in here, which is just so wonderful. And they've been touched by the high schoolers. They're the ones who've done all the work along with the Bloom team helping out.
My name is Sharisha Aylesworth, and I've been taking care of City Hall for 4 years. I've been a bloomer for 4.5 years, and it's probably my favorite time of the day. So I started as just a stay-at-home mom with a new driver that just had some extra hours on her plate and liked flowers and just kind of wanted to get into that. But I've really grown into it, and as the program changes, I'm kind of phasing into being maybe a third of what Nancy does. The woman's just crazy, insane.
She's the new Nancy, guys. She's the new Nancy.
I'm gonna do the floral part of it, but yes,
Yeah.
I am. Talked a little bit about my daughter. She's an FFA member.
Mhm.
She's been on the floral team for 4 years, and this is her senior year. And so, mom decided to let her daughter design the flowers this year.
Oh my
And so when you
gosh.
get closer, you can see it learning, right?
Yeah.
Everything's learning.
Yeah.
So I would adjust it over this way more. That's really all I would do. But you can see these double up red begonias. Oh, they have just been fire. I have loved them.
They are so beautiful.
Held. You can see how much sun this gets on a 100-degree day.
Yeah.
Man, they just held up. I lost a little bit of the lobelia. You know how lobelia just wants to bolt when it gets 100 degrees?
Yep.
It just does.
Yep.
But you can see how that sunbeanie and the lemon coral, it's such a texture. It's so fun. It just is happy.
And then you have the official city flower.
Oh,
you guys.
Look
Look at how beautiful this is.
This is another thing that we do. Our Boy Scouts also recycle flags.
Oh my.
But yeah, the Gara actually comes out so far that the poor bike users, I have to.
You have to push it back.
Right.
You have to push it back.
Yeah, you do. And so this has been, what I tell people is that this is 2 hours away from my own circus. Like, if I could get any message to somebody that's thinking about volunteering in their community or getting involved with anything like that, you have to. It's just doing the work.
Yeah.
Take those 2 hours, get your fingers in the flowers, get a little bit of good in your heart. You got people honking at you and smiling.
Yeah.
I can't recommend this type of activity for somebody highly enough.
That's so fantastic.
It's just the relationships that you build are going to be great.
Yeah.
I just really do.
You all seem like such a fabulous team, almost like a family here, right?
Get well cards.
Right. Everyone's saying hi to each other. You guys are all so happy to see each other. And it's just the most wonderful thing to see. And it's probably because you guys are happy. You get to spend your time with flowers all day.
I had a passerby tell me this morning, gosh, your flowers are so happy. I can tell you talk to them so nice.
I love that.
They just absolutely just cracked up. Oh. You talk to them so nice. I love them.
Oh my goodness.
It really is the city of smiles. The goal is really just to really dig in and build that bond with people.
Yeah. Make it a community.
A place people want to come home.
Yeah.
A place where when your best friend from high school says, hey, I'm coming over for a week, you're like, you have got to go see downtown. Like, we're going to get a coffee and wander around, and we're going to get you a little gift, and you're going to see these amazing things. This is the place you want to.
Wow. I love that. Well, a huge, huge thank you. I mean, you've got big shoes to fill.
Huge shoes to fill.
You can do it. If anybody can do it, you can do it. Well, this is huge, Nancy. I want to say a huge, huge thank you for showing us around your city, all the beautiful people that you have, all the beautiful flowers, and just everything that you all have done. It's just incredible. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.